Today, I'm going to be sharing some of the best tips I have for quarterly planning so that you can manage your time and structure your writing business in a way that will shoot you towards your idea of success. Now, if you're new here, I'm Rhiannon Edwards and my whole channel focuses on publishing, especially for indie authors. One of the biggest things that most indie authors don't tend to realise when they are just starting out in a writing career is that they are becoming a business owner, because writing is a business if you are an indie author. You're becoming an entrepreneur. And if you want to be real fancy, we sometimes call that being an authorpreneur. See what we did there? Just like any business, it can be really scary, daunting, and leave you feeling like you have no idea what to do next. This was me. And if you're anything like me, you've probably got a never-ending to-do list and a rather haphazard approach to the next thing that needs to be done, with not a lot of thought process behind it other than this like hustle culture of trying to keep up with everyone and everything around you. One of my biggest problems personally was that I didn't plan realistically for the time I had, and I didn't have a focus. I would see what other people were doing and think I had to do the same. And I gave no real thought to what I wanted out of my career. That is all what quarterly planning has enabled me to do, is to really narrow down and think about what is success to me and how do I want to achieve that? So what road do I want to travel down? So this struggling to keep my head above water feeling was horrible, and it's what led me to the HB90 planning system run by Sarah Cannon, an author herself, and this idea of quarterly planning was brand new to me, so I was quite eager to try something new. Micro planning tasks.
Nice.
There are several reasons why I find this really helpful. One is that there's a lot to think about on the day-to-day business side of running your own writing career, and having the micro tasks really helps you to think about everything that needs to be done for a project. It can be easy to forget things when you're trying to run multiple different things at the same time. So at the very beginning of the quarter, thinking about all the little things that need doing really helps to ensure that I have got everything down that needs to be done. The other main reason is that I like to feel like I'm making progress, and I think a lot of other indie authors would agree is that sometimes our projects actually span multiple months, and it can be hard to feel like you're making progress when things take that long. So by having those micro tasks split up, even into things like writing 1,000 words, editing 1,000 words, even just like breaking things down into like word chunks, can make you feel like you're making progress when something is spanning a long space of time. So being able to tick all those tasks off, all those micro little tasks, really gives me that boost of, is it oxytocin, that boost of those good hormones that make me feel like I am succeeding. And it also means I'm more likely to keep on doing it because I'm getting that good boost of things that are being done. So I love micro planning. The next thing might be a bit controversial, but I think old school pen and paper, nothing can beat it, okay? I know a lot of people have been planning with like their iPads on tablets with those fancy pens. I've even got one of those fancy pens that I write with, but just nothing beats being able to scribble down things with pen and paper. Like, just nothing can beat it. And I think sometimes it really helps to brain dump all your ideas using pen and paper rather than typing it up. I think there's also, like, psychologically, when you write things, you're physically putting things into your muscle memory, and I think that helps. It's another way to establish a connection with things that need doing. So if I'm writing things down, I tend to have a better memory of writing that down than I do when I was typing it. That's just the way my brain works. There is some psychological basis in there as well, but I know it's not for everyone. But if you are thinking, I always forget things, or I can't remember what I've put, try old school pen and paper. I know we live in the digital age, and digitalness, that's a word now. Digitalness is really good, but I just don't think you can beat a little bit of old school pen and paper. And when I plan, I also plan on pen and paper as well. That may not work for you, but I would definitely try brain dumping all the things you've got to do using pen and paper. So the next thing that I would share with my younger self and with you is to tweak a quarterly planner into a way that suits you best. Now, you know that I follow the HB90 quarterly planning system, and the planner really lends itself to being able to be tweaked and changed as it suits you. Whatever system you end up using for quarterly planning, definitely tweak it to how would suit you. I would follow whatever system you're using. I would follow that for at least the first quarter, to see how it works, to see what might need changing, and then adjust as you go on. There is absolutely no need to follow something so rigid that you think, this isn't working for me, and then give up. Be flexible, change things, tweak things, make it your own. The next tip I have may or may not resonate with some of you, but if you're here, it's because you're learning about quarterly planning, and it is to give quarterly planning a go over monthly planning, because you're doing a major planning session 3 times a year. No, you're not. I can't do maths. You're doing a major planning session 4 times a year, and you're planning for 3 months at a time. The reason why I think 3 months works so beautifully is that it's long enough to see if things that you're trying to implement are working, but it's also short enough at the same time that you can switch things up if things aren't working. I also like the fact that I'm doing a major planning session, and then for 3 months, everything that I need to think about is there. Being an indie author, being your own business owner, there is a lot to think about, and there are a lot of hats to wear. Having that time at the beginning of the quarter to really plan out for the next few months, can't begin to explain how helpful that has been to focusing my time much better. I am known as a procrastinator, and so having the opportunity to plan every month was a way to waste a lot of time. Quarterly planning was definitely the first step, I think, in me achieving more than I ever thought I could achieve. Now let's move on to Kanban boards. Kanban boards was a completely new concept to me. I don't even think I'd ever heard of a Kanban board before I started the HB90 system, but they're a big thing, and a lot of people use them for their businesses, for work, for school, for anything. As you may have guessed from my tip about old school pen and paper, I have a physical Kanban board up on my wall. I know some people use digital Kanban boards. They use things like Trello. Mine is up on my wall. It's a big whiteboard that I then have split into the segments. If you're not familiar, the Kanban board and how it works for like HB90 and the quarterly planning system is that I have 3 columns for the 3 main goals, and then those columns are split into 3 rows. The first row is all the tasks you've got to do for that quarter. The second row, is the task that you're currently working on. And the final row, my favorite row, is the done row. I find this really effective, having a Kanban board, because it's a very visual representation. I'm a very visual person, and it's a really good way to have that big sort of like bird's eye view of everything that needs to be done during that quarter. And also, as you may have guessed as well, I like those little boosts of motivation when I can physically see that I'm getting things done. Especially if I haven't moved my task down for a week or so. I absolutely love moving down all the things that I know are now done into my done column. In fact, sometimes I deliberately leave it a week or 2 so that I can then move them all down in one go. And I'm like, yes, done that, done that, done that, done that. I knew that I wanted writing to be my career, so I knew that I needed something to take me there. If you want to know more about the course and what it entails, I recommend checking out this video over here, because it's where I go through what the course is and the format and everything else. And I'll leave an affiliate link down below for the course as well. Bye guys.